Alejandro, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you on. How are you today? First of all, where are you right now currently? What country are you in?
Hello, my name is Alejandro, and I'm currently with a work and holiday visa program in Canada. I'm close to Montreal, but in Ontario. Right now,
Okay.
I'm in a village called Bernardine,
Yeah.
which is close. It's closer more to Ottawa than to Montreal, indeed. But I arrived to Montreal because was interested in that that place. And yeah, right now, tomorrow I'm going to start in dairy farming.
Yeah.
That is that is one of the profession that I performed before. So they hire me here in a dairy farm in Ontario.
Nice. And how long have you been in Canada?
I just arrived last Thursday. We met each other last Thursday
Oh,
after
okay. I
48
understand.
hours. After 48 hours without sleeping, we met
Yep.
each other, and I even forgot your face.
Yeah, I remember. So I had gone to this hostel. It was the Same Sun. That's the name of it. In Montreal, and we had been talking. There was a lady from the Czech Republic there,
Hmm.
you had been talking with as well. I find it funny you don't really remember much of that though, because clearly you didn't have much sleep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just wanted to go to sleep. It was like eating. I'm going to sleep. I think I was eating in that moment, maybe.
yeah. And did you stay in the city for a few days after that?
Yeah, I visit a friend, a dear
Nice.
friend that I didn't have seen in 9 years when he immigrated here.
Mm-hmm.
He's not data scientist, and he works in a well. And also, I met his girlfriend, and now after that, we went to the only main reason why I wanted to visit Montreal, which is the biggest Villeneuve circuit of Formula One.
Oh, the F1 track. How was that?
Yeah, I'm so of Formula One. Well,
Yeah.
right now it's a bit mesh because there is
What do you mean?
not a real competition. It's pretty boring in general right now. It's has lost its essence. The the um, the car doesn't sound like before. I remember when I went in to a race in 2008 in Valencia in Spain. You couldn't stay close to the car because of how low did they sound. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think it's now evolved to the point where it's more a competition of the cars themselves and the mechanics over the drivers?
I think so. It was like that before, but there were things that were more key, the aspect of the driver, like the fact that they had to go to drive on the limit of the capacity to give the car to the to the greatest. I mean, they had to take the most of the car. Now they don't go they don't go the fastest they can because they have
Yeah.
to, how to say, look at the tires, look at the mechanics, look at, well, now it's not the same. I think so.
Yeah, I can imagine. Tell me a bit about your background. So you're from Spain. You're from somewhere in the
Yeah,
south of Spain, right?
southeast Spain. I'm from Alicante.
Okay.
So I studied biology, by master in biostatistics, but I didn't really like, well, what most influenced in my life was when in 2018, 2018, no, in 2017, I met the Ayn Rand philosophy
Yeah.
that really changed my vision of in the world. Yeah, this is something that any objectivism is the philosophy of Ayn Rand.
Ayn
Any
Rand.
person, yeah, Ayn Rand is a philosopher, was
Yeah.
a philosopher. I
The
don't know
name
if you
is
know her.
it's vaguely familiar to me, but I'll have to check that out. What's like the basis of that philosophy?
So, in her words, as I remember, the essence of her philosophy is the man as an heroic being, with her with his happiness as the most important goal in his life, and with the reason as his only tool to and in order to understand reality and to pursue his goals. And CX, one of her ideas is about happiness, is that she expressed that happiness is possible in the world if man acts rationally. And she presents an entire philosophical system integrated with the nature of man that allows you to pursue your goals. I mean, if you apply with this philosophical system in your context, in your particular context, with what you like, what you aspire, you can be happy. That's
Nice.
what most influenced it to me, and the fact that I was looking for many answers before because she is opposed to altruism. She defends rational selfishness, and she's opposed against altruism. And because of stating the interest of others above yours, and above yourself, makes that other people become into how to say I mean no I always say it's a menace to your interest, not a menace. That yeah, uh, any person that you know, if you say that you are an altruist and you look for others, but any person that you know and you have to put the interest of others above yourself means that other person is going to be a menace to your own interests. So the only thing that you can feel against others following altruism is resentment and fear because every time that you know anyone is going to uh, conflict with your own interests or
Yeah.
imagine that you want to be happy, but imagine that another person tells you that in order to be happy you have to help others and take care of others, but it is not true. It's happiness is a selfish, not an emotion. It's a selfish goal, a selfish state. It's
Yeah.
only yeah. Well, that this is a bit what most inspired of from Ayn Rand. This is how I focus. Well, I slowly focus it because I have a great background of altruism in my life. I I remember I studied in a Catholic school, so I
Yes.
had many things about that I had to liberate of that. So yeah, any question?
Definitely. That's fascinating. I always
Hmm.
find it interesting when people sort of are really living by a particular philosophy, and it seems like you've really adapted that into the way you live your life day to day and the decisions you make. Um, so in terms of that, where do you see yourself going in the future? Do you have any particular goal or dream of how you want to be living your life, let's say in 10 years from now?
I stopped doing to myself those plans so long term because you don't really know what's going to
Yeah.
happen maybe next year. I
Hmm.
mean, the most that you can do it maybe is for 5 years.
Where do
Okay,
you see
5 years is
yourself
a
in five
realistic thing.
years?
I don't know either, because I remember that with COVID-19. Okay,
Yeah.
I had many plans in my mind,
Hmm.
non-realistic, not following the Ayn Rand philosophy current because misinterpretation. One of the things that I thought I maybe may help me is to study biostatistics, but I didn't really like that, and I studied biostatistics and I did the master pretty bad, and I didn't want to work in that because I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
That I thought it may be positive for me because it will give me professional perspective. I mean, I will have a job. I may get money
Security.
with that security. Yeah, but at the end, it didn't work on
Hmm.
me, and I was so upset with myself. In after COVID, I got really very depressed because in fact my entire environment changed. I was not anymore with my friends. because we finished the university and it was like, oh my God. So what happened after? Yeah, I got depressed. I had problems with my family. Um, I met, and I went for first time to the Ayn Rand Institute conference in Europe, and that was the
Wow.
happiest moment in my life.
What country was
Yeah,
that in?
it was in London in 22,
Wow.
in the first of April of 22. And I met the one who may be my best friend I ever had, but this is not my best friend right now. It's very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after that, I committed some mistakes, like the fact that in Washington, I remember that I went to the Objectivist conference that is going to be in Boston, by the way, this
In
year.
Washington, the
In
United
Washington
States?
in
Okay.
22,
In
I
Washington,
went to one.
D.C., like
Yeah,
the capital or the state?
the capital.
Ah, okay. Because we have another state called Washington too.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah.
So after that, I was so upset with myself because I misbehaved in some way, and I couldn't attend these events for 1 year because of the policies. I misbehaved some way and don't give you more data. But that after being in the top of the way, I went back to the bottom.
Yeah.
And yeah, so after 1 year, in that year, I also studied cognitive neuroscience master in
Really?
Madrid. Yeah, because I wanted to understand objective epistemology in the brain.
Yeah.
So, and what a, for that purpose, I studied a master. That what most of that was clinic oriented, but the other half was oriented to research, to brains. You know, if you think about how you see the world or how you think of how what the psychologists do, that is software of the mind.
Yeah.
What I wanted to know is how the software is related to the hardware.
Wow.
The, you see, no, the neuroscientists do the study more the hardware and the
Yeah.
concept of having bad hardware. That is the circuits and how the process, particularly in the mind, the hardware is how is for the psychology, the programmer. So I am interested in how the objective epistemology exists in the brain. For example, in what a concept is. A concept is the union of two separated unities linked by a specific definition and isolated by the process of abstraction.
Yeah.
So, what are these processes by which we understand reality and what happened in the brain when? Okay, let me see if I say it properly. What a concept is the union of two more unities integrated by and separated from others and integrated in a process of abstraction and linked by a specific definition. Yeah, it's
Uh,
right. Yeah,
and I
it's
find
right.
that, yeah, like this is something I'm actually really interested in. I don't know if we talked about it when I met you, but I'm fascinated with kind of for, right now in my life, because I do coding, I do software development.
Oh, I see. Tell me
So
about that.
I see everything through code. So when you said that there's software in our minds and we are the hardware, I very much like that. That's something I really believe a lot in. And I see like we have different mind viruses, for example, or we need to like restructure our code and clean it up and sort
Hmm.
out the pathways every once in a while. So there are a lot of metaphors with code and computers
Yeah.
to humans, which I find very, very, very
Hmm.
interesting. Um,
So
yeah,
okay. So philosophy gives you an integrated view for the world. Just like
Yes.
you see your desktop, that is the consequence a code in the hardware, the software code. Okay, when you see the laptop and you see all the programs on all the windows, those are code that those are code and are the result of, I don't know exactly how it works because I'm not a programmer. But think about this: that the way you see the world and the way you feel and the way you act and choose how to act is also the consequence of a particular code
Yes.
that that is your philosophy. Imagine that philosophy gives you the integrated view of the world in the same way that you see the computer screen. Oh, sorry.
No problem. But totally.
So,
Yeah.
so for I'm going to give you an example. Um, Imagine that people tell you how to what is good and what is wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
so 1 second. I kill a mosquito. Yeah, it's full of mosquitoes right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Here too.
So what it was going to do. So imagine that people that tell you that you are a selfish person. What
Yes.
they are telling to you?
They're telling you that you place yourself above you place your own interests over the interests of others.
Okay. So what means others in this equation? Because you can be selfish by, I mean,
Other
uh,
people.
yeah. But why is that related to others? I mean, you cannot be selfish without being related with others. Okay.
Let me think about that. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think it has to relate to something
To
on the
others.
exterior. Yeah, to others. Yeah.
I see. So ethics is the it's a code that you not that you design, but you accept and practice in order to live.
Hmm.
Ethics. Ayn Rand regards this as a science. So this science is that it tells you what is right or what is wrong. So we generally the conventional morality tells you that being selfish is wrong because uh, they regard you as someone who sacrificed others for for his own sake.
Yes.
Okay? You sacrifice others for your sake. Um, this is what I talk about. Why tell you about an integrated perspective of an entire. How do you regard, or what is the connotation of a selfish person? It is that one of a brute that sacrifices others for their sake. If it is a Donald Trump, isn't it?
Potentially. Probably. Definitely. Yeah.
So you associate an immoral person and a selfish person with Donald Trump. But I'm going to ask you something. Do you think that Donald Trump is being selfish?
I think it's complicated. I really think it depends how you define selfish. But in my idea of him is that he is rather vain. Vain. I think it really depends on how we look at the word selfish. He's very focused on his image, very vain, and very quick to very defensive, very defensive, and I think selfish could be a word to describe him, but I'm not sure which definition you're using and which I'm using.
What will you use? What is, and you
Someone,
say sacrificing others for his own sake?
yes, in many contexts, definitely. But I don't think you can say any one person is wholly selfish
Why do you say that?
because to call someone, to subject someone to one definition that based on our interpretation of them, uh, it's not very logical, I guess. Um, so if I, for example, have an opinion of you, and then I come up with my own definition for a word which I'd like to call you, whether it's negative or positive or whatever, it's sort of like it could be my opinion, but also it's not a universal law. And so I think I really believe in the quote. I forget which philosopher said it, but some Russian guy, he said the line between good and evil, it runs through the human heart. So for all of us, we have evil and we have good. And it's hard for me to take some person and judge them to the extent of putting a label in terms of they are bad, definitively. But
Okay,
but definitely,
let's do an
sorry?
okay, I have a great idea. Let's do an exercise. 1 second.
Yes, no problem. He's writing something down right now. If you guys are
With whom
just
are you
listening.
talking to?
Sorry?
Oh, you are telling it to the potential viewers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. What what would mean if I tell you about what do you think about this? The
Sorry.
definition of this. Can you read it?
So he's holding a sign. It says brutality, and then the definition, not caring others. So like not caring for others.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
um, do I agree with the definition is what you're asking?
No, I mean, what do you think is the definition of this?
Of the word brutality, or not caring others?
Both. Not caring others.
Oh, so
But
brutality, it would be violence, but to a further degree than typical violence would be brutality. So something very violent, something extremely violent would be brutal.
okay, extreme violent, and not caring others. Or do
Not ca-
you
not
both
caring, not caring
careless,
for,
careless?
not caring for others, you mean? Like
Yeah,
not caring for others, I would say um apathetic. You know that word, apathetic?
yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And what do you think about this word? What is the meaning of
Benevolence.
benevolence? When a person is benevolent.
When a person is benevolent, they are good to an extreme sense, and they are very caring for others. They're very kind and compassionate and extremely positive in the energy they release. So I would say extremely great. Like, I don't know how to
Okay,
explain it.
so I tell you what happened with and why it's important to program the software of the ethics in our brain. Okay,
Hmm.
so let me see. With ah, it's shining a lot now. Okay, so
Egoism.
egoism and brutality
Hmm.
are associate. Egoism has a connotation of brutality and not caring others. This is known as a package deal. Okay, egoism is associated with it. A package deal is when you merely link two concepts
Yeah,
without no reason,
very
and
interesting.
or that way you invalidate the concepts. So, what is the consequence of this? That
Um,
you
they,
regard selfishness, any pretension that you have about yourself as evil.
yes,
But, for example, the fact that I wanted to come to Canada, I wanted to be happy. The fact of being happy is not necessarily linked by brutality. So what happened? Since I am being selfish, happiness is not possible if you don't accept selfishness. But if I am being selfish, it means that I'm going
I
to be
can't see
related
it.
with brutality. So what
Okay.
happened with this? That since this is regarded as evil, you will not try, because of your ethical code, to be selfish. So you are programmed in your mind not to be selfish, and in consequence, you are not going to be capable of being happy. These two aspects, these two things, concept. Well, there are three concepts. This concept here and these two concepts here are not necessarily related. Are different
Yeah.
things,
This is
but they
a
are joined in a package deal.
it's something we see in code too, where you'll have two different things, like two different pieces of code, which are joined together like this. But it's
So,
something like when you're programming something, you can join things which achieve the proper results, but their connection is flawed. So it causes certain things to overlook other things. But it's like I totally agree with you. Like the way you just described it too is really good.
hmm,
Like how you did it visually, because we make connections in our brains and we don't understand that, oh, like if we go back a few steps, that the logic isn't perfect to make that connection. So that's a really,
exactly.
really interesting concept.
And it happened the same with altruism and
Sorry, I can't see it.
benevolence.
Yeah, if you hold it back, I can see it.
Ah,
Ben
okay.
benevolent.
Let me see 1 second.
Um, all right, yeah, benevolence and altruism, yeah.
Yeah, what happened that these concepts are also joined in a package deal.
Mm,
Benevolence is kindness, but
yes.
but one point is that altruism and oh my god, okay,
It's
altruism and
okay.
egoism and selfishness are opposed. That is true.
Hmm.
So what happened with this? That you associate immediately that altruism means benevolence.
Yeah.
Okay, Alt- the benevolent altruism versus the brutal egoism. So what is altruism? Is putting others above yourself. It's the moral principle that tells you that you don't have right for your own life, for your own sake, for living for your own sake. And this is linked with benevolence. Benevolence is a person who cares about others and who is kind and
Yeah.
doesn't regard and doesn't care to take care of others, that immediately help others. Okay, but what happened? This is not necessarily the same. Altruism is a matter of interest.
Yeah, a little further back. Maybe it's because the light from my window is like, okay,
No, it's my light. It's
yeah,
my
a little
light.
back. Yeah, further, like closer to you. Yeah. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Let me see 1 second.
all right, altruism and
Yes.
benevolence.
So
Um,
what happened if you link these two things? So
it will
in the
create
so if you
confusion. Yeah.
you will create a confusion. mm, you will try to be altruistic.
Mm-hmm.
Altruistic is a moral principle. So you will act for the sake of others, but other people will become then a menace to your own interest. So you will
Okay.
feel resentment to other people. So that is the consequence of programming this way. Your soul software. Let's call it soul. Your ethical code programmed this way is contrary to benevolence.
Yes.
Benevolence. If you feel
Um,
resentment against others,
I find that really fascinating, and I think,
really,
yeah, no, genuinely. Ok, mira, voy a hablar en español ahora porque,
puedes
mira,
intentarlo.
solo tenemos 4 minutos porque Zoom, yo no sabía, pero Zoom me dice que porque tengo gratis versión, algo así, entonces solo puede grabar
Podemos partirla en dos si quieres.
partilendos, no entiendo.
Sí, we can split the session in two and reconnect it again.
Ah, sí, si quieres, si tienes tiempo.
I would like, yeah, I would like. I have plenty of time right now. 1 second.
O tal vez
Yeah.
mañana o otro día podemos
Are you
hacer.
busy?
No, yo tengo mucho tiempo libre. Es que mañana
Me too.
mañana voy
Tomo-
a Montreal de nuevo porque voy a ir a un evento o algo así para
Yeah, but
es,
tomorrow, mañana yo no voy a ir a yo no, I'm not close to Montreal. I'm
no,
100 kilometers away
no
to
se
Montreal.
preocupes, está bien. Es que podemos hacerlo de nuevo con la
Right
distancia.
now, it's okay.
Directamente ahora yo tengo varias cosas para hacer y me
Ah,
gusta,
okay, okay,
no, es que me gustaría
okay.
hacerlo, ah,
So we
pero tú eres muy interesante para hablar y quiero que vuelvas para otro día para hacer
la
otro,
segunda parte.
sí, otro
Venga,
podcast. Y
it's
sí,
okay. For next time, I we will continue with this. Are you going to upload this in your media?
creo que sí,
Yeah.
pero yo no sé si voy a poner el video porque yo soy casi enfermo y creo que no, no sé, es que tengo
That's
vergüenza,
okay. As you
pero,
please. I
pero la
am so
siguiente
sorry.
vez, sí, sí,
Okay,
sí,
that's okay.
pero sí, siguiente vez vamos a hacerlo mejor porque voy a tomar más tiempo para como preparar todo en mi
Okay.
computadora
I would
con
like to go
todo.
tomorrow to Montreal, but I will it will be my first day of job.
Está
So
bien, pero hay que decirme qué pasa con tu trabajo porque también es muy interesante para mí. ¿Vas a
okay,
una finca para
con
leche y
vacas.
todo? Vacas, muy interesante. ¿Y qué vas
Vale.
a sería difícil también, puedo imaginar. Ah,
I will tell you about New Zealand next time, okay?
ok, seguro, definitivamente, por favor. Y gracias para dejarme hablar español también para los últimos minutos porque...
No me sale hablar en español contigo. I need
¿Qué dijiste?
it doesn't come out naturally to me to talk with you
Sí,
in
sí,
Spanish.
sí,
Yeah, I prefer to
obvio
talk
que
with you in
sí.
English.
Tengo una pregunta. ¿Tiene sentido cuando digo obvio que sí, obvio que no?
Of course, yeah, it's one. Desde luego,
Obviamente,
claro.
obviamente. Claro
Yeah,
que sí.
well, when you don't want to say obviously, you just say of course
Of course,
or
por supuesto.
claro,
Claro que sí.
claro.
Claro que sí.
Claro, por
Maldita
supuesto, sí.
sea, gracias para venir. Tiene sentido,
Maldita
maldita
sea.
sea. Gracias para
No,
venir, Alejandro. Y va a terminar ahora, pero muchas gracias.
adiós,
Adiós,
adiós.
chao. Y, nos vemos, hablamos luego. Gracias, gracias, gracias.
Gracias
Chao,
a ti.
chao, chao.